It is July 19th. The Bills have not played a football game in a very long time. I'm bored. I thought I would come make a video just because I haven't made a video in a really long time other than little dumb shorts, one of which went surprisingly huge because it was about Taylor Swift, so that'll just happen. Speaking of which, if you look, you can see I've got my Jason Kelce Funko Pop that came, that special order Bills Mafia Jason Kelce Funko Pop, which the proceeds from that went to the O'Shea Children's Hospital in Buffalo, which, although the building has now moved, is technically the institution where I was born, so that's kind of cool. So thank you to Jason Kelce for doing that with Funko Pop.
You're the best, Kelce! You're the best!
Training camp is starting next week. I live approximately 2.5 miles from training camp. I will not be attending training camp because getting tickets is insane now. I get the sense it didn't used to be, but I haven't lived in Rochester for all that long. I've lived in Rochester for 10 years. What am I talking about? I just never had any real inclination to go before. Now I do. Now I can't go. It's been such a long off season that the Bills have been reduced to making promotional videos where they all drink different kinds of milk.
What's up, guys? I'm trying milk. 1%.
With me, I only started making these videos in November, December. People only started watching in January. You feel like you have to make something to keep people paying attention. The Bills don't have to. The Bills really don't have to keep making this content.
Is that milk?
They're all milk. What kind of milk?
I think what most people are kind of paying attention to the Bills for at this point is what we're going to be doing with our wide receiver room. Diggs is down in Texas, apparently having taken Leonard Fournette with him. I saw this video where he's doing like Pilates and fell off a Pilates machine. Back good and bring it. Oh you guys. And I'm such a weirdo that I was like, those are Leonard Fournette's thighs.
Please don't you record. Yes.
But I'm curious to see how that goes for him down there. Meanwhile, who do the Bills have now? My boy Khalil, who doesn't know how milk works.
Think fractions. A half.
And?
Not a half. Oh, half and half.
We got MVS. Shout out to all the Chiefs fans who watch this. We'll see how that goes. Maybe he'll be like Josh Allen, where he just plays really well in the playoffs, but unlike Josh Allen, he'll be good enough to actually get us over the hump in the playoffs. That is, if he even makes the squad. He'll probably make the squad. Keon Coleman, obviously. People keep calling him our first round pick. He technically wasn't. People are putting a lot of pressure on him, but I'm sure he'll do fine. Curtis Samuel. I know nothing about Curtis Samuel, but fingers crossed. Mac Hollins. I know nothing about Mac Hollins. I have a feeling he's probably going to be getting more touches on special teams, and he seems to be another one of those sort of like character guys for the locker room. Everybody loves him. I don't know what his performance is going to be like. Who else have we roped into this situation? Claypool? Hamler? I feel like there are more. Andy Isabella, what are we doing with that poor guy? Just cut him loose. I mean, it's a real kind of shit show, but it's also a shit show with a lot of raw talent, so we'll see what ends up happening there. I'm not as down on the wide receiver situation as a lot of commentators seem to be, because I don't know if you guys were paying attention last year, but Diggs and Gabe Davis weren't playing super great. We did pretty okay with them playing not super great. You know, Diggs' production went down, and you don't really know what that was about. It went down right when we changed defensive coordinators. So we've got Joe Brady now again this year. I don't know whether he wasn't able to or chose not to, or Diggs chose not to engage particularly. It was such a fucking mess. But he did not seem key to Joe Brady's game plan, except for when people are like, but he distracted people because he was getting double teamed. I don't know how much he was by the end of the season, but I don't sit and watch tape all day like the guys on receiver do. Have you guys watched receiver? It's super boring. Basically, anytime Deebo Samuel comes on the screen, I just like fall asleep. And anytime George Kittle comes on the screen, I used to like George Kittle. And then after watching the show, I'm like, oh my God, this guy is exhausting, which I knew he was exhausting, but like, how exhausting must he be to be around all the time? And his wife, the two of them together, just fucking shoot me. I'm sure they're perfectly nice people, but my God, put the camera on them, that's a lot. Who else was on there? Devontae was on there. He's got a lot of shit going on. Justin Jefferson. You know, the thing about having Justin Jefferson on that show, it's interesting because they didn't show how good he is. Because it was a lot of tell and not show about Justin Jefferson. And as somebody who doesn't watch a lot of NFC games, I was like, yeah, no, he's good. He's got sticky hands, runs good routes. Don't tell me he's the best receiver and deserves all this money. Show me. I didn't feel like I got shown. And I keep forgetting who the other one. Oh, Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I'm kind of a fan of the Lions. If you guys watched my NFC Championship game video last season, if you're a Bills fan, you kind of have to root for the Lions. They're just like us. The Amon-Ra St. Brown part of that show is really the only interesting stuff in there. And that was mostly because his dad is insane. And his mom's kind of weird too. Like that whole family vibe, they definitely prefer one brother over the other. Poor Equanimous. Like, they went to that game that was the Bears and the Lions, and the mom was even like, yeah, we're mostly just rooting for the Lions. The Bears, they have no chance of going to... Why am I doing a French accent? She's German. German accent. Insert German accent there. I'm not an accent person. The Lions... There's no chance they will go to the play. I'm still doing French. I can't do it. She was rooting for the Lions. She was like, the Bears aren't going to the playoffs, so we're rooting for our other son. You know, it's all these videos of this 8-year-old, you know, squatting 200 pounds in their gym. The girlfriend seems to give the dad as good as she gets, and so I appreciate that about her. And the dad seems to appreciate that about her too. Mr. Universe. Yeah, he seems like a nutcase. I can't, you know... I was reading something interesting on Reddit about that situation yesterday where somebody was like, yeah, it's great. And they have this really interesting, weird, but tight family unit. And, you know, you say all that pressure paid off. They've got 2 kids in the NFL. But how many families are there out there where the dad did the same sort of shit and now the kids are real messed up and not in the NFL? That at least was interesting to watch. The rest of the show, not so much. Quarterback was way better. And I haven't gotten around to watching Giants Hard Knocks yet, but I got to do that because that sounds like a total catastrophe too. A lot of the off-season media is focused on the NFC, which is less fun for me. Although it's kind of fun because it's stuff I don't really know a lot about. All the AFC off-season stuff is just me watching Travis Kelce dancing around on Taylor Swift's stage or in the VIP tent or wherever he happens, or wherever he wants to be. I'll watch Travis World Tour. I'll watch that shit. That's entertaining. Just to let people watching this know, I feel like I have some Bills fans watching, but I feel like, let's be honest, most of you guys watching this are Chiefs fans at this point. Maybe that dynamic will change over time, but as of right now, in July of 2024, my fan base seems to mostly be Chiefs fans. So, you know, Schadenfreude goes a long way towards getting views. My plan for the season is I'm going to try and do 2 reaction videos a week. One for the Bills game rooting for the Bills and one for the Chiefs game rooting against the Chiefs. Unless, as the season goes on, there will probably be situations where I have to root for the Chiefs just for, you know, playoff rankings reasons. So tune in every week to find out whether Maggie's actually rooting for or against the Chiefs. And then, of course, they will be playing in Buffalo in November. I'm going to do my darndest to do a reaction video for that, but I will have just come back into town from a long, physically grueling trip to Colorado. So we will see. If I'm here, I'm making that video. Don't get me wrong, I'm watching that game, but you may see a very messy, tired, grumpy Bills fan watching that game. I will not be at my best. Hopefully the Bills will be, and the Chiefs will be at their worst. That's my update video. Sorry it's not super interesting. Sorry I don't have that much to say. Sorry the memes haven't been that funny, but we're almost underway. Season's almost here. Go Bills.
Are we live?
Yes, we're very live right here.
Very live, Josh.